The shoulders are so closely tied to the neck that when there is shoulder strain, often it is combined with neck pain. The following sequence includes gentle, flowing movements that release the neck and shoulders. By increasing range of motion in the neck, shoulders, and upper chest, abundant blood is irrigated into the joints and tissues, thus helping maintain the health and longevity of the shoulders and their surrounding joint spaces. The movements in this session are meant to be done without force or strain. Proceed through the movements slowly, with patience, and with a sense of ease and fluidity. Given that some of these movements are small, this practice requires deep listening. Observe the sensations that travel across your skin and flesh, and track the sensations through your nerve endings. Like in Vinyasa Yoga, combine breath with all movements as directed. It is advisable to watch each sequence in its entirety before performing it. It is best not to get up during the session, but remain on the floor if you can, as rising upward will affect your blood pressure and sense of balance. This sequence includes yoga poses as well as movements based on the work of Moshe Feldenkrais and Thomas Hanna. Begin lying onto your back with your arms by your side and your legs stretched out. Turn your palms downward into the floor. Now, without moving or adjusting yourself, simply allow the weight of your body to drop. Check in with yourself as to the quality of prana inside. Does your body feel lethargic or tired, or do you have any discomfort or irritation? Just notice the weight of your breath as it drops to the back of your body, and observe the weight of the back of your skull. Observe the weight of your shoulder blades, and allow the weight of your bones within your legs to drop. Bringing your awareness to your shoulders, notice if one shoulder blade rests more heavily onto the floor than the other. Perhaps one shoulder curls a little bit away from the floor on the front edge of the shoulder, near where the collarbone attaches. Scan your arms with your mind's eye. Does one arm feel longer? Does one arm feel heavier? Do you have any achiness in the elbow or the wrist on one side? Feel any pulsation into your hand or into the tips of your fingers. Does one elbow weigh heavier into the floor? Or does one wrist pop up more away from the floor? And then once again, bring your awareness to the back of your skull. And does your head turn slightly to the left or slightly to the right? Just notice the alignment of your body without moving. Simply observe what is. Bring a quality of deep listening to your tissues. See if you can feel your heart rate and your pulses. Maintain this sense of deep listening throughout the practice to come. From here, take a nice soft breath in and a nice breath out, and bend your knees and draw your feet directly under your knees with your feet flat to the floor. The first movement we'll do will be to arch the lower back by pressing down near the tailbone, lifting your lumbar off the floor. Then curl your tailbone under and press your sacrum down, top of the sacrum, so your lumbar presses into the mat. Alternately, flex and extend your lower back, combining breath with movement. On the inhalation, arch your lower back, and on the exhalation, flatten your lower back. So observe that your tailbone will be rocking like a little swing set. On the inhalation, lift the lumbar, release your belly, and breathe in. On the exhale, flatten the lower belly and curl the tailbone under. Try this for about 4 to 6 times on your own. Then the next part of the movement will be to bring the arms up beside the head with your forearms resting on the floor and your arms heavy. As you inhale, draw your chin to your sternum, lifting the lumbar, and when you exhale and flatten the lumbar, let your chin rock to the ceiling. So now there's a little wave through your spine. When you inhale to arch your lower back, draw the chin to the chest, and when you exhale to flatten, move towards the fish pose, rocking the chin to the ceiling. See if you can combine breath with movement, integrating the lumbar and cervical movements together. Keep the movement soft and without strain. There should be a feeling of ease and gentleness throughout this movement. Continue on your own, doing 4 to 6 of these. Observe any sensation in the back of your neck, in your throat, and observe the way your lumbar discs and vertebra move into the body and release down into the floor. Then from here, at the end of that next one, interlace the fingers behind your head. And with the exhalation, manually pull your head up, draw your elbows together, and flatten your lumbar. Then inhale down to the floor, spread your elbows, arch your lower back and your neck together. Exhale upward, drawing your elbows, flattening your low back. And inhale, release your lower back, arch your lumbar, spread your elbows, and move once again towards the fish pose. Alternate this flexion and extension of your spine, combining breath with movement, and repeat this movement 5 or 6 times, moving slowly and very sensitively. When you exhale, draw your elbows together so your shoulder blades move apart. When you inhale, the elbows spread wide and the shoulder blades move together. Notice your collarbones. When you exhale, the collarbones squeeze together. And when you inhale, the collarbones broaden. At the end of the next one, go ahead and release your legs out and bring your arms back by your side and just lie on your back for 10 seconds. Observe your breath, observe any pulses and sensation through your arms and shoulders and neck. Then from here, without lifting your head, just gently roll your head to the right without forcing, keeping your head on the floor. Come back to center and roll your head to the left. Come back to center, and as you roll your head to the side, press your outer skull to the floor and hold for 5 seconds. Go at your own pace here, very gently rolling the head to the side, pressing the side of the skull to the floor, holding for 5 seconds. Then on the next one, as you press your outer skull to the floor, take your opposite arm and slide it down away from the shoulder. So as your head turns in one direction, the opposite arm reaches away from the neck and descends. Observe the long tractioning of the musculature that holds the neck to the shoulder. Use the breath in any way that feels most comfortable for you here. The palms are turned up to the ceiling. The arm reaches long, opposite to the direction of the turning of your neck. Keep pressing your outer skull to the floor in the movement of the rotation. Then from here, take your arms straight out to the side with the palms facing upward and continue the movement. So as your outer skull presses to the floor, take the opposite arm and press it down into the floor. Go gently side to side. When you turn the head to the side, see if you can activate the opposite side shoulder blade, moving it down away from your ear and pressing it firmly to the floor. Notice which side of the neck for you is more constricted. Do you have more limitation on your right or your left side? Where is the limitation? Is it in your arm, your shoulder, or your neck? And at the end of that last one, when you finish your second side, bring your arms back by your side. Then from here, slide one shoulder blade up towards your ear without lifting it off the floor, and then slide the opposite shoulder blade up towards the ear. Keep your neck passive, keep the back of your skull heavy, and alternately slide the scapula along the floor up towards the ear. Notice that the whole arm bone will retract into the shoulder socket. This should be a scrubbing movement as you slide the shoulder blade against the floor. Repeat this movement on your own about 10 or 20 times. You can do the movement slowly, or you can pick up pace and do the movement with a little bit more speed. Here it's important to keep your neck very soft and allow your head to simply move with the undulating movement. Notice any constriction on your right or your left side. Does your neck move easier to one side versus the other? Does the shoulder blade slide easier on the right or the left? Then at the end of that last one, go ahead and allow your arms to relax. Allow your body to be still for 10 seconds and observe your breathing, observe your pulses, observe the weight of your shoulder blades. And then from here, bend both knees again and bring your feet flat to the floor, feet underneath the knees. Bring your right arm up beside your ear and your left arm down by your side. On the inhale, slide the right arm along the floor towards the wall behind you without lifting it. Feel the extension through the side ribs and through the shoulder. And on the exhale, bend the elbow and let the elbow just return back to its starting place beside your ear. Like vinyasa, combine breath with movement. On the inhale, slide the arm out. Go to full extension if you can, and on the exhale, flex the elbow. Then pause at the end of that next one, and then combine the turning of your head to look at the hand as you go into the movement. That is, keep your head to the floor, don't lift it, and slowly turn your head and look to the hand as you go into extension. This combines neck rotation with arm extension. And at the end of that last one, begin the same movement on the other side. Without using your neck, simply begin with the arm, isolating the movement through the shoulder. As you inhale, extend the arm, and on the exhale, bend at the elbow, returning back to the first position. The elbow stays at the level of the ear when it returns back to its starting place. Inhale to extend the arm, exhale to flex the arm. Notice the feeling in your shoulder. And then on this next one, combine the rotation of the neck and head. So turn your head to the left, look towards the hand that's extending, and exhale, slowly return back to neutral. Here the eyes are open, so you engage what we call the drishti in yoga, the gazing. Look to the finger or towards the finger as you go into extension. Then pause at the end of the next one and feel the weight of your shoulder blades dropping into the floor. Notice any pulsation or tingle through your arms or your hands. If you need to, bring your arms back by your sides, otherwise keep them where they are. Then from here, on the inhalation, drop both knees to the left without shifting the feet. Keep the feet underneath the knees. And then come back up on the in-breath. And with the exhalation, shift both knees to the other side. Arch your lower back as you go into the movement. Exhale, swing both knees to the side without forcing. And inhale, return. Notice the movement in your hip joint and your lower back and your waist as you go into this movement. Both knees swing to the side, lengthening the inner thigh and the waist. Then on the next one, as you swing the knees to the side, extend the opposite side arm over your head along the floor like you did in the previous movement. Swing the knees to one side and take the opposite arm, slide it along the floor towards the wall behind you. From here, try going into the movement on inhalation. So as the knees drop, slide the arm, breathe in, and then exhale as a passive recoil. Go slowly in this movement without forcing. As you combine breath with movement, notice how the breath inserts deep into the rib basket, opening the lung and the intercostals between the ribs. The last part of this movement is to turn the head and look to the hand of the arm that's going into extension, combining the rotation of the neck with the extension of the arm, with the rotation of the legs. Go at your own pace here, combining the breath with the movement. And at the end of the next one, go ahead and stretch your legs back out and bring your arms by your side and pause again for 10 seconds, noticing any pulsation through your fingers or into your shoulders or into your hips. Then from here, stretch your arms straight out to the side with the palms facing upward towards the sky. Without moving the arm, rotate the hand down into the floor into an external rotation by turning the thumb to the floor and then the palm to the floor, so the whole arm bone rolls externally. Do one hand at a time. As you do this movement, scoot the shoulder blade down away from the ear. Try to hook your thumb to the floor and use that as a lever to externally rotate the arm. Then from here, once you have the external rotation of the arm, try internally rotating the arm. Roll the hand in the opposite direction, turning the back of the knuckles into the floor, internally rotating the arm bone. This is somewhat of a strange movement, one we don't do as much in yoga, but notice the spin of the head of the humerus in the shoulder socket. Try this a few more times so you can be comfortable with the internal rotation. Then from here, bend both knees and set your feet directly under your knees again. And with the exhalation, swing both knees to the side like you did in the previous exercise. As you do that, take the opposite arm and externally rotate it. So if the knees shift to the right, take the left arm into external rotation. Continue at your own pace, feeling this long diagonal pull between the shoulder and the hip. After completing that last one that you're on now, then introduce the rotation of the head. So look towards the hand of the arm that's going into external rotation. Let the weight of your skull be heavy, let your neck be soft, combining the inhalation with the turning of the head and the rotation of the arm. Then once you feel comfortable with this synchronicity, the last part of the movement, which is difficult, is to internally rotate the arm that's on the same side that the knees turn toward. Here the arms are rotating in opposite direction. The arm opposite to the knee goes into external rotation. The arm on the same side that the knees turn toward goes into internal rotation. Try that movement, combining the breath. So as you inhale into the movement, make an oppositional rotation through your arms. This helps to bring a ringing action into the joints of the elbow, wrist, and shoulder. At the end of the next one, go ahead and slide your legs back out and bring your arms by your side. Pause for 10 seconds and notice after this last movement any pulses through your hands, your shoulders, or into your neck. Take a nice smooth inhalation, and then from here turn both palms to the ceiling. Keep your hand near your hip and isolate the movement of your shoulder blade by taking the shoulder blade into a full circular pattern, brushing it along the floor. Don't lift the shoulder blade up to the ceiling, but simply rotate it so you're scrubbing the scapula against the mat. Try to create a full circular pattern, moving towards the spine, down, out, and around again. Allow your neck to be passive so that your neck can follow comfortably with the movement. Feel the skin scrub against the floor as you create this 360-degree movement. Notice any clicking or clacking in the joint space. Then try the same on the other side, isolating the shoulder blade as much as you can. Go slowly, creating a big O shape as you scrub the shoulder blade against the mat. Let the arm move with the shoulder, but initiate the movement from the shoulder, not the arm or the hand. Notice the difference between your two sides. Is one shoulder blade more elastic as it swims in the strong musculature of your upper back? Notice any clicking or clacking in your shoulder or your neck or your upper spine. Continue with this movement. You can do the movement slowly, or you can pick up the pace and do it a little quicker. Experiment. Then at the end of that one, pause once again with your arms by your side. Take a nice open breath, letting the weight of your upper body sink into the floor. Then bend your knees and slowly roll to your right side, using your right arm as a pillow to support your head. Keep your thigh bones perpendicular to your spine, stacking your knees. Stretch your left hand straight out in front of you on the floor, and then gaze at the tip of the finger as you inhale and lift the arm up to the ceiling, and on the exhale swing the arm back towards the floor behind you, without lifting your knees. Then inhale, the eyes follow the fingers as you lift the arm up, and exhale, bring the arm back out in front of you on the floor. Slide the hand away from your trunk, then inhale, once again lift up, and exhale, swing towards the floor behind you. notice that your head and neck will be moving in tandem with the arm. Go at your own pace here again. Each time the hand is out in front of your head, slide the scapula away from the spine. When the arm goes back behind you, notice that the shoulder blade moves towards the spine. This makes the rhomboid complex, the musculature of the upper back, elastic and supple. Combine breath with movement. Notice in the front of your chest the opening of the pectoral area and the intercostals and the lung. As with all the movements in this sequence, go slowly without forcing. Allow your knees to stay stable so that the hips don't move. Then, once the arm is extended back towards the floor behind you, lift your feet up away from the floor 6 inches, pivoting your knees down to the floor. That movement will increase the rotation in your lumbar spine. Then at the end of the last one, whenever that is for you, go ahead and lie onto your back again without lifting your head. Let the weight of your body drop. Then go ahead and roll to the other side, using your left arm as a pillow for your head. Slide the right arm out along the floor, reaching the scapula away from the spine. The eyes focus to the finger as you inhale, lift up, and exhale, take the arm back towards the floor behind you. You can pause at the end of the range to feel the openness of the chest, comparing the right and left sides of your body. Don't force the arm to the floor, just go as far as you can comfortably. Notice the rotation in the lower back and the mid-back. As you track your eyes with the movement of the hand and arm, notice the rotation of your neck. Go at your own pace, doing 3 or 4 or 5 of these. Each time the arm comes out in front of you on the floor, slide the arm forward, lengthening the shoulder blade away from the spine. On the last 1 or 2, try pivoting your knees into the floor and lifting your feet away from the floor, keeping the feet together, increasing the rotation in your lumbar. And then from here, complete the one that you're on, and go ahead slowly without lifting your head and lie onto your back again, pausing for 10 seconds, noticing any pulsation into your arm, your wrist, your shoulder, or neck. And then from here, rolling back to the right side, this time sliding the right arm back towards the wall behind you onto the floor, so the palm faces downward. From here, bend your left knee and place the sole of your left foot onto the floor. Very gently, swing the left knee towards the wall behind you. At the same time, press your left hand to the floor and observe the opening in your right pectoral area and down to your right palm. Create a little bit of a swing movement, so allow the left knee to rock a little bit forward and then a little bit back. Then from here, stretch the left palm straight out in front of you onto the floor, like the previous exercise. And inhale, lift the left arm up to the ceiling, and exhale, bring it back to the floor. Keep the right arm extended, and keep the right palm flat to the floor, extending the right fingers. If this movement is too difficult, Then just pause and wait until we continue to the next movement. On the inhalation, lift the left arm towards the sky and rotate your head slightly down to the floor so your gaze looks into the floor. And at the end of that last one, press your left hand to the floor without lifting your head. Roll onto your back again. Pause. Notice the opening in your right shoulder, your right hand, and right forearm. And then when you're ready, bend your knees and roll to your left side, extending the left arm towards the wall that's now behind you. Plant the right hand in front of your chest, press it to the floor, and scoot the left side of your trunk towards your right hand. Bend your right knee, plant the right foot to the floor, and create a bit of a swing movement, moving the right knee back towards the wall behind you. Don't force this movement, just go to the edge of the sensation in your shoulder, wrist, and hand. This is a deep opener for the pectoral chest. After creating 3 or 4 of those, bend both knees, stack the knees together, and stretch the right arm straight out in front of you onto the floor. On the inhalation, lift the right arm to the ceiling, and on the exhale, slowly lower it back down. Keep the left arm extended and the left palm pressing into the floor. As you go into this movement, rotate your head towards the floor. So as the right arm lifts, the head rotates downward. If this movement is too difficult, just pause and wait. And at the end of the next one, plant your right hand to the floor and slowly release, lying onto your back once again. Pause and notice the weight of your shoulder blades here. Notice the weight of your arms. Release out through the tips of the fingers. Release out through your hands. Then from here, bring your legs right together. Push your heels away from you and flex your toes back towards your head. Stretch the arms straight up to the ceiling with the palms together, and with the exhale, entwine the arms so that the right arm is on top of the left. These are the Garudasana arms, or the eagle arms. Entwine the arms. Make sure that the right arm is closer to your head than your left. And with the exhale, rotate the elbows to the left and the head to the right. In this particular movement, the elbows only move to the left and the head only moves to the right. Synchronize this oppositional pull. The left arm should traction the right arm across the midline. Notice the pull in your right deltoid and your right trapezius. Don't force the movement of your neck. Be gentle. And do 5 or 6 of these. At the end of the next one, release your arms again by your sides. And then sweep the arms back up with the palms together. Stretch the arms towards the ceiling. And exhale, entwine them so the other arm's on top. Pinning the left arm in front of the right. From here, with the breathing, exhale, shifting the elbows to the right and the head to the left. Although you could also do this movement on in-breath. Try initially with the exhale. Pull with the right arm, pull the left arm across the midline, noticing the opening in the left deltoid and left rhomboid. Don't lift your head, but allow your head to be heavy. Softly rotate your head away from the outward moving arms. Then at the end of the next one, release your arms back by your side, pause for 10 seconds, and allow the weight of your flesh to drop. Then from here, bend both knees and set your feet directly under your knees. And then clasp your hands to your elbows so that the elbows are directly over your sternum. From here, exhale, shift the elbows to one side and rotate your head to the other. Like an old-fashioned typewriter, slide the arms to one side as you rotate the head, as we did in the previous movement, to the opposite side. Keep the hands clasped to the elbow. Don't let them slide. Notice as you pull the arms to one side, the opposite shoulder blade will lift away from the floor. Turn the gaze underneath that shoulder blade and look down towards the opposite hip. So if the elbows shift to the right, look towards the left hip, keeping that same hip onto the floor. Avoid your hips popping away from the floor. Be gentle with this movement. Go back and forth about 6 to 10 times. And at the end of the next one, release, stretching your legs back out and your arms by your side. From here, bring your feet right together and stretch your right arm straight over your head so the palm faces into the floor. Then take that right hand and slide it between your shoulder blades so the palm faces upward. Reach back with your left hand and catch hold of the right elbow and draw it slightly towards the midline. This is the Gomukhasana arm, or the cow-faced arms in the yoga pose. Rest your head onto the forearm and gently press the right forearm into the floor. The right elbow should move towards the midline and down to the floor at the same time. Avoid distorting your ribs by pushing your ribs out to the side. Incrementally walk your right palm a little further down your back towards your pelvis if possible. And then from here, release, bring your arms by your side. Take a breath and try this on the other side. Stretch your left arm straight over your head on the floor. Rotate the palm into the floor and then slide the hand between the shoulder blades, propping the head onto the left forearm. Take your right hand onto the left elbow and draw it gently towards the midline. Let the weight of your skull drop onto your forearm, moving it towards the floor. Notice the difference in the shoulder joint. Compare your two sides. This particularly addresses the tension on the rotator cuff muscles. Avoid distorting your ribs. Maintain samastiti, or even extension through both ribs and on both sides of your chest. Keep gently pressing your head back into the forearm and, if possible, crawl your left palm down your back towards your pelvis. Then from here, release your arms slowly back by your side. Let the weight of your flesh drop and notice your shoulder blades once again. Feel any pulsation into your hands or fingers. Then from here, interlock your fingers, stretch your arms straight up towards the sky, take a full breath in, and with the exhale, extend your arms over your head to the floor or towards the floor. Turn the palms away from the top of your skull. This is called Baddha Hastasana, the bound hand position. Go on pushing your heels away from your head, lengthening your tailbone towards your heels. Then bend your elbows a little bit out to the side, reconnect your fingers better, and then extend your arms once again, drawing your outer arm to your inner arm. Here the arms stay over the head, with the little fingers resting towards the floor or to the floor. Take a nice breath lengthening the sides of the waist and lengthening the lower belly away from the pelvic floor. And then from here, release the interlock of your fingers. Slide your arms back by your side without lifting them, and turn the palms up to the ceiling for the final position, shavasana. Gently slide the shoulder blades down away from the ear and let them settle into the floor like big sheets of slate. Allow the middle of your back to drop. Feel contact with the middle back ribs into the floor. Gently extend one heel at a time away from the pelvis to lengthen the backs of your legs and let your feet fall to the sides. Allow your arms to be heavy. Imagine that your arm bones are made of wet sand. Observe the softness of the palm of your hand. Allow the tips of your fingers to be open. Let any excess strain evaporate off the tips of your fingers. Allow the weight of the back of your skull to sink. Imagine that the back of your skull is like a ripe avocado. Allow the bone to spread along the floor. Soften your face, release your tongue, release your jaw. And notice if your shoulders feel different now than when you first lay down. Notice any final pulsation or tingle as it transits from your shoulder through your arms and out through the tips of your fingers. With every breath, allow the weight of your bones to drop a little bit further. Imagine that you're lying on the forest floor, allowing the weight of your bones to drop into the rich earth below you. Allow your breath to become softer and softer. Feel a sense of serenity as it pervades your chest, your shoulders, your neck, and your face. Absorb into that serenity. Blend into that serenity so that every pore of your being is nourished. Take as much time as you may need for this final resting position, and when you're ready, you'll slowly roll to your side without lifting your head and roll up to sitting. Namaste.